Today, we jump to the defensive side of the football as I'm going to give you my top defensive interior prospects in the 2024 NFL draft. So let's go ahead and get into this sucker with number 10, Maason Smith. And I'm going to be honest, this number 10 spot was hotly contested. I'm talking like I almost had McKinley Jackson from Texas A&M here. We had Dukes, Dwayne Carter, even Michael Hall Jr. at Ohio State. Him a little more size and whatnot, but Maason Smith is just so athletically gifted. It's hard to not include him. I was sold that he was going to return because he just signed a new NIL deal just a few months ago, but here he is in the 2024 NFL draft. He's coming in at 6'6", 315. He was a 5-star recruit in the 2021 class. Started 4 games in 2021, but he was very, very good. It looked like we were going to be talking about a top 20, top 10 prospect. Then he tore his ACL in 2022 while celebrating after a play in the season opener against Florida State. He ends up rehabbing, comes back here in 2023. Didn't start the season opener because he got suspended for receiving an improper benefit stemming from pre-NIL era stuff, essentially an autograph. Big nothing burger here, but started the other 12 games. Had a relatively all right season, 23 pressures, 3 sacks. He was playing more on the interior, basically being more of this like B-gap 3-tech. And it was all right. It was a big transition. If you remember, in 2021, he was mainly playing off the edge. But you look at this guy's like frame. Like, he's got a nice frame, nice length, freaky type of athlete, much quicker than he has any right to be. However, it's just I feel like he just needs quite a bit of polish. He's just not ready yet to start in a full-time capacity when it comes to the NFL. Like, a lot of times you notice this a ton this year where he gets really tall off his initial burst because he's got a really good first step. But he gets tall, he's unable to maintain leverage, and he just ends up losing ground at the point of attack because of it, and just doesn't make the best use out of that power, that length, that athleticism he has in his frame. Also, he can play a bit out of control and just kind of work himself out of the play. He definitely needs to use his hands better, and I would love to see him keep moving his feet on initial contact. Like, you see this guy, his pass rush repertoire, it's not filled out. Like, really, he's got a good chop move. That's about it. His bull rush is nice when he stays low and whatnot, and you just know there's just so much potential here when it comes to Maason Smith. It was just hard to not include him in my top 10. But at number 9, I got Braden Fiske out of Florida State, coming in at 6'5", 297. He played 5 years at Western Michigan and was a starter for a long time there, and decides to go to Florida State, where he has a very, very good season. Ended up being a third-team All-American. And shoot, man, this cat played baseball in high school too? Wow. But you just see him, and it's like you just love how he plays the game. He plays with urgency. He plays with a huge motor. He's playing he's playing through the whistle. And he actually has a pretty decent first step. It's just, I think he's a fairly average athlete outside of that first step. Like, I don't think he's got like high-end quicks. I think a lot of his game works around him just being a hustle type of player. He doesn't have ideal length, and I mean, there are a lot of times where you just see him get stonewalled, and he just kind of like, after he comes out of his stance, he'll come out pretty tall. He'll lose leverage instantly. Like, there's a few snaps where it's just like he's not doing a hot lot of nothing. But those snaps, when he's disruptive. He truly is, man. You love the leg drive. You love the violence he plays with. Like, he's a very good prospect, and like he's consistently finding himself just around the football. He knows how to defeat blocks quick. So this is more of like a back end of the third round type of grade. Like, I could see him going early fourth as well. But man, just I think teams are just gonna love the hustle that this cat plays with. Like, truly. Number 8, I got Evan Anderson out of Florida Atlantic, coming in at 6'3", 356 pounds. He's a big, meaty boy. He is a big, meaty boy. He's the antithesis of a squatty potty. Like, this cat, he will clog the hole. He will create pileups at the point of attack, and just, there's not a lot of guys with that body type that comes in with like his power and is just able to do what he can do. There's just not a lot of guys in this class. Like, honestly, on this list, we're only going to talk about one other guy. And you look at other guys with that body type, like McKinley Jackson, Texas A&M. It's got that body type, but not quite as strong at the point of attack as as you would like him to be. We could talk about Nazir Stackhouse, who is probably going to be a really good early down run stuff and nose tackle, but offers nothing in the passing game. But Anderson does. That's kind of the difference. Like, he plays with really good play strength. He shows a pretty good acceleration off the line, plays with a nice low center of gravity, and it just allows him to play with leverage and push the pocket. And honestly, the footwork is pretty solid, pretty quick, and like he's able to maintain balance, stay upright. You like that. It just makes him a very alluring option in both the pass and the run game. Now, with him being a bigger guy, yeah, this isn't someone you're going to expect to make plays on the sideline. You know, he's just not that. But for the role that will be given to him as like, hey, you're going to be this pile creating nose tackle that can push the pocket, that'll be a-okay. There are cases where he doesn't exactly shed blocks exceptionally well, though I think it's more so when he's facing double teams. They do a good job of mitigating what he can do. You'll look at his like pass rush win rate, 6%. It's not all that great. You look at true pass rush win rate, though, when he's like going in on potential one-on-ones in situations where the play's not being influenced by the pass, so no RPOs, no screens, no play action, 11.5. So fairly solid number there, but good run stuffer. And again, you're just not seeing a lot of these guys that can come in and play nose tackle. That's why he kind of gets pushed up this list, similar to like what was that cat's name? Broderick Martin out of Western Kentucky last year. At number 7, I got Kris Jenkins out of Michigan. Now, I wasn't that high on him coming into the year. Found out he gained some weight, and I was like, all right, man, let's push him up, because he really just needs to become a more complete pass rusher, or a pass rusher. And we're talking a guy that probably goes in the top 50, and he just didn't do that this year. Coming in here at 6'3", 305, and he just lacks that pass rushing ability. Like, he can maybe push the pocket, but he doesn't show too many moves. He lacks ideal length, lacks ideal closing speed, pursuit speed. Like, his 9% pass rush win rate jumped up to 11 this year, but still isn't a guy that's going to be creating a lot of chaos in the passing game. He's just a solid player at the end of the day. Like, he plays with a lot of power in his frame. He has good footwork. He's able to drop his anchor. He's able to recover quick from like cut blocks, and plays with heavy hands, can stack and shed relatively quickly. You see that more so in the run game, where he's a real disruptor. He truly is. Made Bruce Feldman's freaks list for his athletic testing, but he just doesn't offer enough as a pass rusher for me to really push him high on this list. Like, this cat has like no finesse moves despite his athletic tools, no finesse moves to speak of. And just at the end of the day, man, it's just like, okay, he's just a very solid player. Can't really push that guy up much higher, because you're looking for these big difference makers the higher you get up the list. But he ends up being my like first third round grade in the interior class at this position. But before we get into number 6, I got to give a shout out to my draft guide. If you want to know more about these prospects, then check out my draft guide. It comes with full evals, full rankings. Shoot, why hear it from me when you can hear it from me? Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet. So send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals. And guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase and it's a great way to support the channel. At number 6, I got Brandon Dorlus out of Oregon, coming in at 6'3", 290. I should mention this right now. You're not going to see Missouri's Darius Robinson on this list, a very similar player in terms of his versatility. I'm actually going to include him on my pass rushers just because he functioned more as an edge player this past year. So be on the look for that in my edge rankings. But I love Dorlus. I got a mid-day 2 grade on him. He's going to be at the Senior Bowl. And he's just had an overall very interesting career at Oregon, where you go back to like 2021, where he was primarily playing the interior. He made first team all Pac-12. And then last year, primarily playing as a edge rusher, made second team all Pac-12. And then this year, I felt like the Ducks did a good job of combining that. They actually used him in very creative ways along the defensive line, and he ends up making first team all Pac-12 once again. And honestly, some of his best qualities is his play strength, his motor. He plays with a lot of urgency, a lot of hustle. He may not be like the first to the party type of pass rusher, but he will grind out reps and finish plays. And like a lot of his strength does stem from the upper body. He won't be moved off his spot. He stacks and sheds extremely well. He tears down ball carriers. He's just very gritty. And he has improved his pass rush toolbox over the last couple of years to where like he plays with these active hands. He does a great job of just baiting tackles in or baiting guards in and just being able to take advantage of them, man. He's got good length. You love the versatility. Some of this stuff I didn't like. I don't think his lower body's that strong. Like, he plays a little too high cut sometimes, kind of negates his ability to actually push the pocket. I do worry that he can be displaced in the run game because you didn't see him, unless he was making plays in the backfield, you didn't really see too much from him in terms of being a run defender. There are times where he does lose balance. You find him on the ground. And like, while he is explosive and quick twitch, I can't really say the same. I can't say that he could be consistently a pass rusher, you know? Like, because you look at the change of direction, it's not exactly ideal. So it's like someone you probably have to, like, honestly, if he ends up playing like 3-tech, penetrated 3-tech full time, I think that's a-okay. But I don't think you could play him outside like full time. I just don't think that that's something in his wheelhouse. I would like to see him do just a better job altogether at creating, gaining, maintaining leverage. But like, I'm a big fan, man. Big fan of this cat. And I think he's got some good versatility. And if he goes to the right spot with a creative DC, that he could end up being a big money player. At number 5, got Ruke Orhorhoro coming out of Clemson at 6'4", 295, and a little bit similar in some regards to Brandon Dorlus. And interesting story, he was born in Nigeria, moved to the U.S. when he was 9, played basketball primarily in high school, and didn't play football until his junior year. Also wrestled in high school, but you could see some of the unpolished in his game. Be like, okay, this is a guy that's still, I guess, relatively new to football, though he has been playing for the last, I guess you could say, 6-7 years, but still someone who's who's still learning the nuances of the game, the nuances of the position. Like if we're talking about hand placement, footwork, how to maintain leverage. Like he's still kind of ironing out some of those areas. But he is a sick athlete. Like his explosiveness is just wild, man. It really is. He knows how to get skinny to shoot gaps. There are times he will meet the running back right there at the handoff. It's kind of ludicrous. And he's got a lot of power in his hands, and sometimes he could just stun blockers right from the get-go. Plays with good leverage, and he's just a total nightmare to handle. And unlike Dorlus, I would say Orhorhoro's got an exceptionally strong lower body that there are times where he might not have the most like creative toolbox when it comes to pass rushing, but he gets locked up. He'll just start driving those legs and pushing the pocket. I'm kind of a fan. Anchor in the run game is kind of so-so. Like I feel like there are times he kind of gets worked out of the play. So, but like again, he's kind of ironing out the like finer things. That's kind of why he finds himself in this midday 2 area, similar to Dorlus. But I came away a big fan of his. But real quick, what's crackalackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below, where we have that nice, beautiful football discourse. If you're looking for more position rankings, I've done quarterback, I've done running back, I've done safety, I've done corner, I've done the whole offensive line. Just go ahead, check those out. Let's go ahead and wrap up our list here. Going to number 4, Leonard Taylor. I'm an absolute mark for Leonard Taylor. He's from the U. How can I not be? I'm a big Hurricanes fan. Coming in at 6'3", 305, and the dude is a total bulldozer. He is built like a defensive lineman, but he moves like a linebacker. He is strong. He is jacked to the gill. He will forklift and manhandle interior players like no problems asked. And he's not just powerful. As I mentioned, dude moves like a linebacker. He's exceptionally athletic. Great burst, combines that with good length. He's able to get down in those bull rushes and really cause problems. And his hands just control blockers like puppets. It's a thing of beauty. He is probably one of the most difficult interior pass rushers to stop, with the caveat of that being at the 3 tech position. I think he led all interior players actually this year in pass rush win rate coming from the 3 tech position. But that's where we get into our problem. He was primarily played in the A gap at nose tackle. At 200 of his snaps came right over top of the center, where he wasn't nearly as successful. Like he just wasn't, because there are times where he can get a bit tall and get out leveraged, and it really kind of takes away from his bull rush and his ability to stack and shed. And I know, like, listen, when he was used around that A-gap area, he was just fairly ineffective. And it's very apparent in run defense. Like, his gap discipline can be shaky. But where he was at his best as a run defender, again, was that 3 tech area, where he had no problem feeling like he could settle in a hole and just attack, like whether it's shooting the gap or just settling in and waiting for the play to come to him, or at least funneling the play maybe outside. So I think he has the makings of a top 50 prospect. The production might not have been there this year, but I think a lot of that was misuse because Mario Cristobal, great recruiter. How do you have all that talent though and have like only 7 wins? I think they finished with 8. Did they finish with 8? No, I think we got mollywopped by Rutgers. Ugh, that just sickens me saying that. But big fan of Taylor. Let's go ahead and move to number 3. T'Vondre Sweat out of Texas. He's another big boy coming in at 6'4", 362 pounds. This is your premier nose tackle in this class. And he had a phenomenal year where he made first team All-American. He was awarded the Outland Trophy. The guy was great. He's massive, obviously, but he has so much explosiveness and he brings a lot of athleticism for a man that size. But don't be confused. He still packs one hell of a punch. He is overwhelmingly strong, sets a good anchor, plays with good leverage. And golly, man, legitimately probably one of the best run defenders in this class. He's just consistently causing pileups and just creating chaos in the backfield. Some of the hiccups I have with him, and honestly, this just might be on me, because I was very similar with Dexter Lawrence. I was just like, I don't know if he's a 3-down player, and lo and behold, Dexter Lawrence ends up being one of the best interior players in the league. So it's like, maybe I need a reel back on that, because I'm just like, okay, can Sweat be a 3-down player? Like, his snap count has been increased over the years, but this past year was the first time he's ever eclipsed 500 snaps, with it being 503. So I feel like that's a fair question to have, but I don't think I'm really going to get down on him, because I basically have him as a fringe first-round grade. There are times where he does disappear and appear to be gassed. That was more apparent the last couple of years. This year, it was a lot better about that. All in all, man, big fan. Does need to work probably on how he uses his hands as a pass rusher, and I'm kind of curious what his length will be, but dude's phenomenal. I got him here as a top 50 grade. Moving on to number 2, Jer'Zhan Newton with a first-round grade. Some people might be gasping, surprised, but I've kind of been foreshadowing this for like a month and a half that my number 1 I'm pretty nuts about. But Jer'Zhan Newton is one hell of a prospect in his own right. Don't get it twisted. Johnny Newton coming here as a 3-star prospect, coming in at 6'2", 295. Played basketball in high school. He has 4 brothers, 2 of which played football in West Florida, and one currently plays at Toledo. He has his cousin, Pro Wells. You might remember him from a couple of draft cycles ago. Was the tight end there at TCU, and I think he initially played for the Bengals for a little bit. I think he now plays in the USFL. But you see that lineage. He's from a family of football players. Just happens to be the best one from his family. He made first-team All-American this past year. Doesn't surprise me. 43 pressures, 8 sacks. Win rate was ludicrous, 23.2% pass rush win rate, true pass rush win rate. But he might also be one of the best run defenders in this class, as he had 32 defensive stops. If you're unfamiliar with that stat, it's just plays resulting in negative to no gain in the run. He plays with his hair on fire, which would be even more terrifying because he's got them predator dreads. Can you imagine those things shaking in the wind? Just aflame? Terrifying. But this dude will pin his ears back and just shoot gaps, shoot it in the opposing backfield. Very good explosiveness, very good at just closing the gap between him and ball carriers. He attacks with very quick hands, very quick feet. He can defeat blocks relatively early. 102 pressures the last 2 seasons is just an absolute ludicrous number for a defensive interior prospect. It truly, truly is. And he's very stout in the run game. He will not allow himself to be run over. He's got good natural center of gravity and will always work himself to the play. I think he's going to test exceptionally well at the combine, but he also got a big motor, plays with a lot of urgency. However, you do look at some of the physical traits and where he's lacking, where not ideal size at 6'2", 295. Not ideal length. There's going to be concerns that he can get washed in the run game. They haven't been concerns yet, but there will be concerns if he can hang with NFL power. Won't be the most versatile piece at his size, so you're looking at another guy that's probably just a penetrating 3-tech, but he could be a darn near unstoppable one, in my opinion. I mean, you could probably have success lining him up at 5-tech, but I don't know, man. I see a lot of like Justin Matabuke-esque in him. I'm gonna have to get like a when he does the combine pro day and see what the metrics look like. I don't know, that comp might be in the wheelhouse. But a big fan, got a first round grade on him. But my number 1, as I've been alluding to, is Byron Murphy out of Texas. I got a top 20 grade. I'm going to go ahead and just shoot this guy to the moon. he was darn near unstoppable. 19.6 pass rush win rate. Then you go to 30.4 true pass rush win rate. Absolutely ludicrous. The next highest guy was his teammate in T'Vondre Sweat at 24.5. Oh, let me take that back. The next highest guy was Michael Hall. But then after that, it was Sweat. Now, when it comes to Byron Murphy, he's coming here at 6'1", 308. So you know this guy has naturally good leverage, low center of gravity. He plays low. He anchors well. Packs a lot of power in that frame. Plays with very strong hands. Throws exceptionally strong blows. And he does a good job of controlling engagement and stacking and shedding. He just does that all really well. Keeps his eyes in the backfield as well. Does a great job locating the football. And he just shoots into the backfield with probably one of the best first steps in this class. Plays with a hot motor. He's been used in a very versatile role there at Texas. However, though, there's gonna be questions about, the lateral ability is not ideal. He's more of a straight line athlete than he is just moving horizontally. So someone you might not expect to chase the ball carrier down to the sideline, and does kind of lack ideal size, but not by much. Like, maybe your question is, can he hold up against double teams? I think, he could probably effectively get nullified in that regard. But if you got him shooting the gap, then I think you're A-okay. There's a spot for his type of disruptiveness in the NFL. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.